Yo, 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 what's up, boys and girls? It's John from Jay's Innovation Girls in the Peach Capital of the state, baby. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit it, hit it, hit it. What's up, boys and girls? It's raining. It's raining. All right, so let me show you what I got going on. I don't know about you, boys and girls, but it's raining. Washing that pollen away. Rain, rain. What's up, Elko, Chris, TJ? Who else is in here? That's pretty much it. 4 for 4. All right, boys and girls. Got the mounts made. I hadn't made the tops yet. Had some stuff that came up, and I had to leave, and then I come back, and I had to leave again, and then I come back, and then I had a visitor. What's up, Kyle? So I got the mounts made. Tomorrow I will take some little caps, and I'll cap them. I'll put a bolt on it. We'll make nut inserts, and we'll weld it in there, and we're good to go. I'm not gonna weld it solid. I'm gonna tack it just because to be on the safe side. But I'm gonna do a corner weld. So when I do it, I'm not gonna make it where it's tight. I'm gonna make it where it's like that, where I got a corner weld. But I will tell y'all this. I had a visitor come by, and y'all wanna see something purty? Y'all boys and girls wanna see it? Y'all wanna see it? I ain't gonna be on here long. I say that every time. Y'all wanna see it? Y'all wanna see it? Come on now. How much longer until you think? I will answer that question. How much longer until I'll make you YouTube famous. How much longer until you think the average American is gonna rely on ration cards to feed their families? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Camera fuzzy. Hold on a second. Hold on. Is it still fuzzy? Chris, is it still fuzzy? It ain't gonna happen with the ration cards. You know why? Because people like me ain't gonna need a ration card. Because, let's see. I'll tell you why. Because there's a whole lot more like me than it is people that's gonna depend on ration. 40%, bro, 40% of Americans already rely on SNAP, 60 of those. Okay. Well, then you just answered your own question. You just said, see, you went to, I'll play this game. You just said, how much longer do you think the average American is relying on ration cards to feed their family? Then you come back and say, bro, 40% of Americans already rely on SNAP, and 60% of those are 55 or on some kind of sort of government assistance. See, that's two different things. See, actually three different things. Government assistance for 55 people or older, SNAP, and rations cards. Which one is it gonna be? You wanna talk about ration cards? You wanna talk about SNAP? Or you wanna talk about government assistance? That's three different entities, and you're trying to wrap them all up in one bow. So go get your facts straight and come back and we'll talk. I'm not dumb as a rock. I didn't say that. See, you brought that in, I didn't. You asked a question, and I entertained that question. Your question was, how long did I think people was going to be on ration cards? I said, ain't going to happen. Then you come back with three different other type of topics. So are we going to talk about ration cards, or we're going to talk about SNAP, or we're going to talk about EBT, or we're going to talk about government assistance? We're not talking about politics. I don't talk about politics. your daughter first. I don't know what that means. Anyways, let's get back to the good stuff. Y'all boys and girls ready? Y'all boys and girls ready? Can I ask the question? Ask the question. Ask the questions all you want, whether you get an answer or not. All right, boy. Hey, Chris. Chris, is it still fuzzy? Chris, is it fuzzy? Yeah. I'll let you know, TJ. I'll let you know in a second. It's better? Are we better? I'll tell you when, TJ. Not yet, buddy. Not yet. Y'all boys ready? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Here, I'll turn this around so y'all can see it. Woo! Look. Woo! What y'all think about that? Huh? Huh? What y'all think about that, boy? Talk dirty to me. Yes, sir. 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 Y'all see that? Y'all see it? All right, now I'm going to turn the camera back around. All right. It is nice. Bam! Woo! Talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell Jay how you want it. Tell Jay how you want it. Woo! If one ain't good enough, how about two? Woo! Now, what in the world do Jay got to do with these? Anybody guess? Yeah, they nice. Elko, they nice. They nice. They nice. What's up, Tulu? So guess what I got to do with these things? Somebody guess? Somebody guess? Yeah. Carolina Big Boys product. Oh my God. And not only the valve covers, got the engine to go with it, with a blower. I got to strip them. Tulu, you're right. Tulu, you're right. So this guy, my homeboy came by today, and he's got his brand new LSX 376 BTI or BTM or BT something engine, turnkey, Whipple supercharger, supposed to be meaner than a dog pissing tax. And guess what? The whole engine is this color. BTR. That's it, Woody. Thank you. He's got a turnkey engine from BTR. Well, the engine ain't here. It ain't here. He brought me the valve covers. The engine is supposed to be put in the car in 2 or 3 days. It's a 71 Camaro split bumper I done a few years ago. It didn't have enough ass. So he pulled out the 6.2 with the blower and bought a BTR turnkey engine with a blower, with a Whipple. 393 LSX 376 BTR with a Whipple. I got excited. Well, we got a 6.0 over there, 408 from TKM. We got that. You want to see that? You want to see that one? You think that'll make you excitement? So the whole engine from BTR, yeah, he's trying to, yeah, okay. All right, hold on one second. So this one right here, the whole engine's this color, and he don't like it. And they wouldn't paint the color no other color than this. So he bought it. So the whole engine is this color except the Whipple. The Whipple's black. So they pulled, not me, another shop is pulling his 6.2 out that he just put in like 2 years ago, and we talking about that. Maybe I can get the 6.2 and put in OG6. What y'all think about that? What do you think about a 6.2 with a Whipple and OG6? Won't even be able to keep the tires on it, but nevertheless. Yeah, I know, right? So the BTR engine is orange. So the guys that's putting the engine in the car are gonna paint the engine black. Yeah, it'll snap the spokes, yeah. He wants me to paint these gloss black, and he wants me to airbrush these silver, switchback silver. He wants LSX switchback silver. But I think I'm gonna do something different. What if y'all think that I go, he wants these gloss black, and then he asked me if I'd paint these the same color of his car. His car is a switchback silver with carbon fiber and all that stuff. So I'm asking you guys, there's 31 people on here, I'm asking you. He pretty much lets, I painted his Asante wheels 2 years ago. He bought a brand new set of billet Asante wheels, 3-piece wheels. They would not color match the center of the wheel to match his car. So he bought a set of 22 by 12s for the back and a set of 20 by 8s for the front Asante wheels. And had me to take them apart to paint the face of them the same color of his car and then put them back. Had all those damn bolts all the way around it. What's up, John? Smash it. So, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna paint these gloss black like he wants them. But I was thinking about on Tulu's car. On Tulu's car, he has the LSX sticker, or the decal, not the decal. He has the LSX emblems on the back of Tulu's car. Tulu's car has LSX, and the X is in red, right? So what if I do this? What if I make an executive decision, paint the valve covers gloss black, paint this silver, this red, this silver, and this silver. So it says LSX. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Think that'll be all right? Yeah. So paint these gloss black, paint LS376 in switchback silver, which is a GM color. And then paint the X in red. So when you pop the hood, the engine's black, the valve covers are black. LS is switchback silver, which matches the car. The X marks the spot, is in red like the map, 376. What y'all think about that? Then that's what we're gonna do. And I ain't even gonna ask, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna ask. All right, so is Carolina Boys Production, you still on there? All right, so let me show you. So the cold air intake, if you're new to the channel, go back and look at some old videos and you can see this build right here. The cold air intake, the custom cold air intake is at the jet coder. It's supposed to be done on the 15th, and then I can get back on this. But this is a 60408 TKM horsepower. It's got a custom cold air intake that comes out of the bumper. So we built a cold air intake that comes out of the bumper. 4-inch intercooler pipe comes up. There's a custom air box here, and then it feeds this 105 millimeter intake. And then this is a Texas Speed Titan intake. And it's dusty. I mean, don't be freaking out because it's dusty. But this is a TKM 408 stroker. And this is like I said, it's dusty from sanding. That's okay. It is a 5-speed Dakota Digital custom stereo box. Has the exhaust comes out the side right here. Custom exhaust built in-house. Has 315, 45, 20s on the back. Has full QA1 suspension. So let me give you a little story on this truck right here. When this guy brought me this truck, the only thing he had was the cab and the title. He didn't have nothing else. I required and built everything else. Shaved the drip rails off. Like I said, it's dusty, but it ain't no big deal. Yeah, the custom exhaust comes out the side right there. There's videos on that. So that's that. Boys and girls, it's raining. All right, so let me, this right here is after Tulu's heart right here. This is a Ford. So let me show you what I got going on. I made the mount pockets. So the mount pockets, like I said the other day or earlier today, they're going to go right here, and this is what's going to hold the box to the frame. So I'm going to, from the cross member to the first bend, right, is 72 inches. So what I did is I split the difference. So half of 72 is 37, half of 37 is 18 and a half, 37 plus 18 and a half is 55 and a half, right? So I think two pockets on each side. So if there's a pocket here and there's a pocket here, that'll be two pockets. So let's do this again. Yeah, I built everything. Yeah, cars in the cut. I done every bit of this. I started out with nothing. So then these pockets right here, I cut these out of that right there. So you're gonna have this pocket right here is gonna be right there, and then the other pocket will be there, and then the other pocket will be there. And that will mount the chassis to the box, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just hold on. No, it's getting this right here. So let me show you so you understand what I'm talking about. All right, so look. So let me show you. Y'all hang tight. All right, so this is what I'm telling you. So this right here, I'll media blast all this and I'll clean this up. But you see right here, this is the bolt. This is the bolt hole that holds this. So think about this. The chassis is going to ride right here, right? The chassis is going to ride right here. Well, you need a way to bolt it to the chassis, right? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take these pockets and do them like this. And then you can put the bolt in from the top, and there'll be a threaded nut welded on a top plate. So when this box goes on the chassis, this right here will be like that, and it'll be like a torque box. And then you reach above the top. Hold on, yeah, right there. What you do is you'll reach above the top and put your bolt in there, and you bolt it. So there'll be one down there, there'll be two on this side and two on that side, and that's how you'll bolt. So that's that. And then the rear right here, this bolt hole right here will be, so that bolt hole right there will be right, it will be right here on this mark right here. So what I'll do is I'll drill all the way through this channel, all the way through, and then I'll take I'll take some chromoly tubing. And I'll drop it down in the hole, and then I'll weld it solid. So when you look, the only thing you'll see is this hole. And then you drop the body bolt with the body bushing all the way through, and the bolt will go through the frame, and you'll tighten it. And the reason why you're putting a sleeve inside is so when you go to torque it down, you don't crush. This is called a crush sleeve, so you don't crush the torque box. Hold on, let's see. So that's that. This right here, this is a parallel 4-link with a Z-bar. So when you're setting up your parallel 4-link, you got to make sure that your pinion angle is level, right? And then you measure from center line to center line, of bolt hole to bolt hole, and you get them 23 inches. So this bar is 23, that bar is 23, this bar is 23, this bar is 23, and then you make sure your pinion angle is at 0. Then you measure your length from your, Z-bar. Your Z-bar can go on top or it goes on bottom, but I prefer to put it on the top if you got the room. And then once all that's done and everything's level, these pieces of tubing here is representing the coilovers at 12.5-inch center line loaded. So when I built the chassis, when I built all the suspension, and I started putting everything together, let me sit down. When I started putting everything together, I made these and welded it to the rear end and then welded it to the frame. Once I had 12.5-inch center line from the bolt hole to bolt hole for the coilovers, that acts like the truck is on the chassis and it's loaded with full suspension. So this right here is ride height. So this right here, I got 4 inches of ride height. And I have 3.5 inches of travel and the coilovers that are coming. So what I'll do, if you got 3.5 inches of travel with the coilovers up and down, so you got 3.5 inches of ride height of floating. So you got 3.5 inches. So split the difference. So half of 3.5 is 1 3/4. So you go 1 3/4 up, 1 3/4 down. That's 3.5 inches. Yeah, 3.5 inches. Well, from here to here is 5 inches. From the bottom of the frame to the top of the rear end is 5 inches. Well, if I got that much ride height or that much play of travel in my suspension, then that means I put a 2-inch bump stop on the bottom of the chassis, and if it gets too crazy and the chassis goes down, the rubber bump stop will hit the rear end and it'll bump and it won't be metal to metal, if that makes sense. Yes, Elko. This is a nodular 9. This right here means it's nodular. This is a nodular 9. This is the factory rear end that was underneath this box van. So what I did was I took it apart, I rebuilt it, put 373 gears in it with a Ford clutch pack, so it's a posi unit, did disc brake conversion, went with a GM style rotor because GM has the Mercy brake on the outside, and if you go with any other type, then you got the Mercy brake is on the inside, and it just takes up more room. So use a GM style caliper that has the Mercy brake on the outside, so when you pull the cable, it engages the piston in the caliper, therefore it makes the wheel stop. If you do it the other way, you have a brake shoe on the inside, and it just makes it's larger, and you got to run different wheels and stuff like that. So that's that. And then I went by my buddy's shop this morning. He said he'd have my stuff cut today, but you see, I don't have it, so I'm gonna check with him tomorrow and see if I got it. Man, I need a burn table bad. I need like a 2-foot by 4-foot table. I hate waiting, and I hate asking for help. Because if I get a damn idea in my head at 2 o'clock in the damn morning, I want to come out here and I want to make it right then at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it sucks not having. TJ, I appreciate that, buddy. I really do. I appreciate that. You know you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. I really hate asking for help. And I know there's people out there that want to help me, and I'm grateful for it. But you don't understand. My mind is like 10 hamsters on one wheel, and they all fighting to be the driver. And it's just, I don't know. But I will tell you this. I ordered a bead roller from Eastwood today, the 36-inch deep bead roller. I'm fixing to fuck up some shit around here. Yeah. So, yeah, I really do, Woody. I really do. I really just, I mean, I'm not impatient, but when I got my mindset on something and I'm ready to do it, I'm ready to do it right now. And it sucks, right? Daggone, man, we got 82 people in here. Why don't we have 82 thumbs up? So here is the engine mounts that we made the other day. And man, there was 13,000 people that watched us an hour and a half to make these. And man, I am grateful that y'all watched. That was so great. That was so humbling whatsoever. Your wheels are running off a big block. Yeah, Chris, they moving, boy. They moving. All right, so y'all know y'all seen. Now let me show you this. Where's my template? Y'all remember the template that I made? It was the little half moon thing. Hold on, let me set this camera down. Y'all remember that little half moon thing that I made that I was showing y'all that I was gonna do for the engine mounts? Oh, yeah, here it is. Y'all remember this? Remember this right here? That I told y'all I was making because I didn't like the gussets. Y'all remember the gussets that came with that tubing? Y'all remember these little bitty chicken shit things that look like throwing star, like ninja throwing star? Hey, I wonder if this thing will stick in the wall. And then I said, I'm gonna make something different. Let me show y'all. So y'all remember when I was making, hold on a second, I'm trying to get y'all up here to a bird's eye view. Hold on, y'all stay with me, don't go nowhere. All right. I don't know if y'all can see any better or worse. All right, y'all remember when we was, let's zoom in. Damn it. All right. Y'all remember these little brackets right here were supposed to lay like this. Let me show y'all. And let me show y'all. Y'all remember them little chicken shit brackets right there? That was supposed to be the gusset. You're supposed to put that thing in there like that right there for these engine mount kits these tubing. And you're supposed to put this chicken shit thing right there. And you're supposed to weld it across the top and then weld it there. Y'all remember that chicken shit thing right there? Well, we didn't like that, right? So then we drew this out on paper, right? And then this thing was gonna go, I was gonna make a template. Damn, Jay, you done crumbled it up like it's a damn rice cake. All right, remember we was gonna make something like that right there? Well, let me tell you, we're not using that neither. Let me tell you what happened. Besides the damn camera got a mind of its own. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Come back over here. Come up, yeah, right. There you go. Appreciate you support. We're gonna find out if it's gonna stick in the wall. Y'all hang tight. I'll sling that son of a gun across the wall like a daggone. So y'all remember make that? Well, let me show you. That ain't what we doing. So let me show you what I did. On the way one find out, sling it. So I'm gonna draw this real quick and then I'm gonna show y'all, right? Jay, that looks like shit. All right, let me draw it again. All right, hold on a second. Y'all have to bear with me, because I drew this pretty fast, right? So, where's my scissors? So, y'all see this? I know this ain't made to scale, so don't be beating me up, but I'm gonna show you. I got it nice and radius. When I drew it out to scale, and I give it to him this morning, and he said he'd cut me some out. Oh, I just remember something else I need cut too. I need to text him when I get off the phone. So, this is what I was gonna do. So, y'all should have paid more attention in art class. So, now this ain't made to scale, but this to kind of give y'all an idea, right? Let's give you an idea. So I'm gonna make a gusset, and I told him to make it out of a 1/4-inch plate. Of course, you know, Jay, you made that too damn wide. But what I'm gonna do, that ain't gonna work. Y'all hang tight. Hang tight, let me make it shorter. Let me make it narrower. All right. All right, so, oh yeah, feel the steel. This thing's all aluminum too. That thing's all aluminum. All right, so I drew out another template, right? And this is what I'm coming up with, right? So I'm gonna make it, now this is just to give y'all an idea. I radius the corners like 1.5 radius on this side, 1.5 radius on that side. I radiused it up there at the top. I made the slot in the middle. That was the radius of this 1-inch DOM tubing where it would drop down a little bit so you can kind of see the backbone coming through it. And I told him to make it about 3/16 wider than there so I could do a corner weld, so I could weld it all the way around, real nice weld there. And then I told him to put me, if it would allow, to put 2 holes on both sides for ornamental pieces, you know, for just for cosmetic, just for looks, and make it where I can do that so it actually drop down. It will actually drop down in the middle of this tubing right here. And I told him to make me 4 of them. So there'd be one here and there'd be one here on the inside like this. So there'll be a brace here and there'll be a brace there. You like that? Well, not this, but you get the concept, right? So basically what it's doing, it'll be splitting the pipe, you know, damn it. It'll be splitting the pipe enough where I can go around and weld it, you know, I can go around and, you know, put a nice bead around it. And then it'll have the accent holes, and then the other one will go on the bottom side like that. So, yeah. Yeah, to give it more to weld to, give it more to bite, and then I'll get up on the bottom when we flip the chassis over, and then weld on the bottom. But, yeah, I think that will work out great. Let's see, and then he's cutting me the brackets out for this, and then I got to get together, and I'm going to tack these brackets here so I can get there, and then I got to design a new cross member and then get with 5 and 2 Customs. Yeah, 5 and 2 Customs, which is Buchanan's Auto Sale. 5 and 2 Fab. Ain't that right? Yeah, 5 and 2 Fab. Ain't that right? John, ain't that right? 5 and 2 Fab or 5 and 2 Customs? Which one is it? So I don't be saying it wrong. And then we're going to make a custom cross member. Also, we're going to make customs. 5 and 2 Customs is going to help me. They're going to collect. I'm going to draw it up, and then they are going to cut the pieces out for me for the tricked out cross member that I'm got going. Yeah, this is aluminum. This is all aluminum, and this. Hold on, I dropped something. Hold on. Let me back up. This is going on that. Right? So also we're going to make a smaller one of these, and we're going to put now it's not gonna be this big, but it'll be smaller. It's gonna be right here in the center, and it's gonna have a hole in the middle of it for a tie-down hook. My biggest pet peeve is seeing cars hauled on trailers and the damn straps through the wheel or wrapped around the rear end to pinch brake lines and stuff like that. So my friend Kevin is gonna cut me two more pieces out of a 3/8 plate or a 1/4 inch plate, probably 1/4 inch plate, and I'm gonna weld like a lifting eye here and over there. So I'm gonna put one on this rail, one on that rail. I'm gonna put one on this rail and one on that rail. So if it's ever on a trailer, it has somewhere to secure it down and tie it down. I'm telling you, I hate that. Airbags. Chris, I had him talked into air ride. I had him talked into putting Ride Tech shockwaves on this thing. Which you still could do on the back. On the front, I don't think you could do it on the front now, but I told him air ride. Because I said it wouldn't be nothing to pull up somewhere and push the button and that son of a gun air out and that threshold plate touch the floor and you just stumble out. You know what I'm saying? But that's going to be about, it's not far from it's going to be about that rail right there. If it all works out right, that rail right there is going to be about 3 inches off the ground. So it's going to be pretty low. It's going to be tucking. And then the front bumpers, I'm going to tuck the bumpers. And then he told me he wanted to put steel wheels on here, but I seen some steel wheels from Detroit today that looked like the old artillery wheels, and they were in plus sizes, like 20s. So once I get the body setting on the chassis, which hopefully by Friday, this box will be setting on that chassis by Friday. If Lord willing and I'm still breathing Friday, that box will be setting on that chassis Friday. By the end of the day Friday, that will be setting on that, one way or the other. And then once that's set on that, then I can get it secured, and then I can start measuring for wheels. I got to get the stock car steel this week to get some 5052 aluminum because I have to build a new fuel tank. So this is the old fuel tank. This is 47 inches long. It's 9 inches deep and 12 inches wide. This fuel tank will not work no more. I really, really like the brackets. But I'm not going to be able to reuse them. Yeah, Elko, yeah. I can't use these brackets, but I'm not going to throw them away because I really like them. And I can't use this tank, but I'm going to use some styling cues off of this tank. So the tank, we're not going to have a lot of room for the tank, but let me tell you how to figure up the tank, okay? So here's how it goes. So this cross member is going to be right here. I've already marked where it's going to go. So I measured 1 inch off of the cross member, right? And then I measured all the way back to this cross member, right? These are the drop downs that I made. So measured all the way to here, and then I subtracted 1 inch from this side and 1 inch from that side. So that gives me a gas tank. Yeah, I'm gonna build an aluminum gas tank out of 5052 aluminum. So that means the gas tank is gonna be, so this is how you figure up your gas tank. So the gas tank is gonna be roughly 30 inches long, right? So to figure this up, what you're gonna do, and then I figured up I'm gonna need, so it's gonna be 30 long. 2 tick marks means inches. 1 tick mark means feet, okay? Remember that. So you got 30 inches, right? 30 inches long, and then I'm gonna go 12 inches deep, and we're gonna go 11 inches wide. All right? So Somebody multiply that for me. 32 times 12 times 11. And tell me what it is. Somebody do that for me right quick. What is that? 30 times 12 times 11 is what? What is that? Somebody give me that number. Come on, man. Somebody. All right. Thanks, Mike. 4224. All right, Mike, divide that by 231. All right, Mike or Pat, divide 4224 by 231. What's that number? There you go, 18.28 gallons. So just say 18 gallons. So that's 18-gallon tank, and you can't fill up it. So you're only gonna fill a tank up 80% because you gotta leave it where, you know, it's gonna vent. So 80% of that, and that's what the fuel tank will be. So that's not really that bad, honestly, because this tank right here this tank here that was in it, come up to be 19.6 gallons. So just say, 19 and a half gallon tank. So we're only losing a gallon of fuel, but this thing had an original straight 300 straight six with a 2-barrel carburetor with a 2-speed power glide. That's what it has. Now it's gonna have a 302 with a little hot cam with Holley fuel injection. And it's going to have 373 gears, and it's going to probably have a 28-inch tall tire in the back. It has a whatever that AOD non-electric Ford transmission. That's what that's going to be. 14.4 gallons. I don't know. How'd you get 14.4? If we were talking about Diddy oil, cars in the cut would be, that's hilarious. So what are y'all talking about these valve covers, man? So this is paint. So what I'm gonna do is I'll buzz these down with 320, and then I'm gonna seal them to see what happens. And then if they do pretty good, then I'll build off of that. I'm hoping they don't go crazy or nothing like that. But I'm gonna paint these from a buddy. I already started saying, I hit it with you see where I hit it? Oh, hey, I see where you say 80%. Can you say that word around cut? You mean automatic shift machine. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah. So did everybody see the video that we got power? Let's go ahead and mop the door right quick. Did everybody see that? Man, it's raining. Did everybody see that we got power? Elko, did you see that hooked up the battery and found all the wires and hooked them up to the battery? And we got headlights, we got turn signals, we got interior lights, we got brake lights, we got dash lights. Yeah, we got lights. Did everybody catch that video on that? The other shock came in for my boy's truck. It came in, it got rained on, but here's the shock for his truck. There's the replacement. So gonna put that shock on, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Yep, we got power, and I charged the battery. So that's good. I'm pretty sure these wires right here was part of the old computer and the engine harness and all that. So, and then the blower motor works. We activated it with the power probe. It works. It's a purple wire, so I got to find it to make sure. I think it's in this bundle right here. I got to find it, but that's the purple wire. But this blower motor is no good. Well, it's squealing, so I got another one ordered, and then I got a high output, so when we replace that one, oh yeah, it's gone. Oh yeah, it's gone. It gone. But like I said, yeah, it's good to go. It's good to go. Yeah, yeah, I got power, so that saved me a lot. Or that, you know, I got power. So now, and these are plastic. So I'm gonna clean up some more, and then I'm gonna see if I can get the media blaster to come, and then I'll take aluminum foil, and I'll aluminum foil all the wires in aluminum foil, and then get him to come blast all this with crushed glass and strip all the old paint off of it. And then I will, I'll probably take the nose off, and then I'll go ahead and paint all this satin black, and then it'll be ready to stick the new heart in it and go from there. But I don't know if anybody's new to the channel. Here's the speaker box for my son's truck. We're working on the box that goes in the bed. It's going to go right here, and then once it's done, that's why I got the bead roller coming. This box here is going to either have 6 or 4 L7 8 10s in it, the square kickers. And then once that box goes in there, it'll have a picture window here, and then a blow through that goes into the cab. And then I'm gonna build a custom metal floor, and that's what I'm gonna use the bead roller for, and then paint it. And then the same thing for the air ride, it'll be in a custom box too, and then it'll have a picture window. It'll probably have 3 picture windows or 2 picture windows, so you can see all the air ride and lights and bells and whistles. And then when you drop the tailgate, there'll be another picture window. So this is my oldest son's truck, and I'm building this car for my younger son, OG6, in memory of him. He passed away January 2019. So that's what we got going on there. So I built everything. I built all this. This is 16 gauge. So, but yeah, boys and girls, and all that stuff is supposed to be back on the 16th, and then I gotta have these valve covers done here. I emailed Hoppos. I emailed them. I'll wait for them to email me back. If nobody don't email me back in a few days, I'll try to reach out to them. I'll try to reach out to them. So, yeah, man, we got 84 people in here, man. If 84 people would hit that subscribe button that hasn't already, man, that'd push me over 3,200 people, man. Elko leaves his tailgate open. That's funny. So, I'm doing a review on these new sanding pads from Harbor Freight. These right here have the wheel already in there. Not my style. What's not your style? These wheels? What's not your style? Did I miss anybody's comments? Back to the gaps in the tank, you putting baffles in it. I didn't see that, Mike. Yes, sir, I am putting baffles in it, and I have a dimple die set. Mike, that's a good question. So Mike was asking me, was I putting baffles in that aluminum tank? Yes, I'm putting baffles on both sides of the drop-in Holley fuel system tank. So the Holley has a drop-in fuel pump assembly. So I have to make a flange at the top where the fuel pump assembly bolts to. And it has a weep sock or a pickup sock on the end of the holly thing where it can pick up fuel. Doesn't matter how it's articulated, it picks it up. So ever how big that sock is, that's how big I'm gonna make the baffle wall. So let's just say that the fuel pump sock is 10 inches wide by 10 inches wide. Let's say it's 10 by 10. I will measure over 5 inch or 6 inches this way and 6 inches this way, and I'll put a baffle, and that will give me a 1 inch buffer left and right to go from there. And then I'm going to and then I'm gonna use my dimple die set. I'm gonna use my dimple die set. I tried some out the other day on this aluminum. I got a dimple die set. What I'll do is I'll put, this is a 1 inch dimple. I'll probably either do, this is a 1/2 inch. Yeah, this is a 1/2 inch dimple. I'll probably put 1 inch dimples in it. And for everybody that's asking what the hell I'm talking about, a dimple, this is what I'm talking about. Dimple die set. So what I'm referring to when I say dimple die, this is what I'm referring to. Right? So this right here is that. So you drill a hole, you put this together, and then you put it in a press, and you press it, and it makes dimple dies, right? So this right here is a 1/2 inch dimple die, and has different sizes all the way up to, so it goes 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, and 2.5 inches. So look at this one. Look at that one. That's a 2.5 inch, boy. Ooh, that's a 2.5 inch. That's a grown one. So, yeah, that's that. Y'all boys are a mess. Y'all boys are a mess. So that's that. So I will be, to WTF Mike, I will be putting baffles in between, and I'm gonna make the gas tank out of 1/8 inch, which is 0.125 out of 50/52 aluminum, and then the baffles I'm gonna make it out of this 16 gauge, which is 52 aluminum too, but this is 16 gauge. So the baffles will be this, and then the main structure will be 1/8 inch. So I need to get the stock car steel. I need to get the stock car steel one day this week, before Friday. I don't know. I might go tomorrow. I don't know. I might run over there tomorrow. If it's not raining, because I don't want that stuff to get wet on the back of the truck, I might just go on over to Stock Car Steel tomorrow. It's in Mooresville, and go ahead and pick up 2 sheets of 16 gauge and 2 sheets of 1/8 inch aluminum, and then come back and then keep it. Because I don't have enough 1/8 inch to build the tank. JG, I got a real question. Do you stamp your signature on what you build? No. No. When I worked at Petty's, I would. At Petty's, I was very honored. The Batosa brothers, they pulled us down there when they had the photo shoot, And I did me and this other guy did a 70 Superbird. It was vitamin C, and it was all original. And it scored like a 97 out of 100. And it was all original Superbird. And it was vitamin C. And I got pictures, I got receipts to prove it. If anybody calls bullshit, I got receipts, I got paper. We went down to the photo shoot, and the Potosi brothers were from New Jersey or the Bronx. They were from up north. They was into construction. Imagine that. They was in construction, and they asked, you know, who worked on the car, and me and this other guy, we said we did all the metal work, the body work, and the paint and the buffing, and then the engine shop, you know, they done the engine and the suspension and all that. But we were more responsible for all the metal work, from rust to shiny, right? That's what we done. And so they did the photo shoot for the magazine, and Richard signed in the trunk and signed his name, right? And then one of the Potosi brothers walked over there and handed me the Sharpie. And I took the Sharpie from him, and I said, what do you want me to do with this? And he said, you worked on the car, right? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, well, go sign it. And I looked at him and I said, you want me to sign it? He said, yes, sign your name. And I said, okay. So we walked over there, and I signed my name beside Richard Petty's name, and I dated it. It was like 5/24/18, 2018. And then the guy that was working with me, he signed it. And then they took a picture of me, Richard, the guy that was working with it. I'm not going to say his name because he might not want anybody to say his name. It was me and him, Richard, the Potosi brothers. We all stood beside the car, and they took a picture of it. And it got put in a magazine and all that stuff, which is cool. And then the Molly cars, I signed them underneath the deck. Like, I signed them underneath the fenders and shit. Like, if somebody ever took it apart, I put my name, I put my phone number, and I put everything. So if anybody took the car apart, my name would be in there. So they's like, hey, you worked on it or whatever. So I did every one of the SEMA cars that we done. I did every single one of them like that. I signed inside the car, like underneath the panel that would have to be took off, and looks like, hey, who's this asshole? And my name was on there. I printed it, and I signed it, and I dated it, and I put my phone number. My phone number has been the same since 1994. So I've had the same phone number since 94. It's not going to change. And I done a bunch of stuff like that at Petty's. All the SEMA cars, I signed them. But back to what you were saying, I think I seen it in there. It says, what did you say? Engrave or weld something. That's funny that you said that, because on this chassis here, I asked my guy that has his plasma table if he could cut me something metal with my logo on it to weld on the chassis, like my shop name or something. But he said that his plasma cutter couldn't cut that fine. But I found out that John Buchanan at 5 and 2 Customs, they have a water jet. So a water jet cuts more finer. But I also have another idea, cars in the cut, since you brought that up. I have a friend that has a laser engraver, right? So I was thinking about taking some aluminum, right? Some aluminum like this, and have him laser engrave, because I got to put a VIN number on this chassis, right? So after the chassis is powder coated, oh yeah, that's something else. He's gonna let me, he's gonna let me powder coat the chassis teal. I don't know if y'all missed that, but he's gonna let me powder coat the chassis teal. And then the bottom of the van's gonna be black, and then the box truck's gonna be teal and white. So when you go to put the box truck on the frame machine or on a lift and look underneath it, you're gonna see the chassis is gonna be teal, and it's gonna stand out because it's different. So I have a friend of mine that has a laser engraver, and I was gonna take him some of this blank aluminum, and I was gonna get him to laser etch the VIN number on the data plate, right? They make data plates that you can order and put the VIN numbers and stuff. I was going to order a couple of them and get him to laser etch the VIN number and all that stuff off the original chassis so I can put on this chassis, right? So it'd have that on there. And then also, I was going to have my stuff, my information put on there and laser etch, and then I was going to pop rivet it to the chassis. If we done it in metal, then I'd have to weld it to the chassis. But if aluminum wouldn't rust. But I know with them TKM valve covers, they were powder coated, then they was laser etched, and then the letters were aluminum. Hold on a second. What were we talking about? Birthdays? That phone number older than me. Yeah, so my phone number that I have, I've had that number since 1994. That's how long I've had my cell phone number. And I was all-tail all the way up until AT&T absorbed the last customers. I never jumped ship. I stayed AT&T, or I stayed all-tail from 1993 all the way until they absorbed it. I still have my Motorola pager. I still have my Motorola pager, 95. Yeah, all-tail, baby. Yeah, baby. Look, my mom, I asked her the other day, look, this is no shit, 84. The other day I asked my mom, I said, do you still have that bag phone that you had when you was in the post office and you delivered mail? She had an all-tail bag phone in her mail car. I asked her if she still had that phone, and if she did, I wanted it because I wanted to put it in OG6. I wanted to put that bag phone in the G body. Elko has no tail. So, but anyways, boys and girls, been on there 63 minutes. I appreciate everybody. I had a Motorola pager in elementary school for real. Hey, I still got mine. I posted it in the community post. I still got mine. Put a battery in it and it still comes on. Now it don't work, but it comes on. But anyways, so AT&T changed to Bell South and it went to AT&T. Look, Montgomery County was the last county that was all-tail. And then it finally, after they just called, they sent a letter out and said, hey, look, if you don't come and change your phone in, your service is going to be ended. So I never jumped ship. And then I went, and I think when it switched over, I got like an iPhone 6, so that tells you how far it was. Now I got an iPhone 16, so that tells you how far. My pops had the hard case leather phone in his vet. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, cars in the cut. Yeah, that's what my mom had. Why did you need a pager in elementary school? Elko, no cousin TJ's in. Lord have mercy. Elko, no cousin TJ's in here. He's got them baby ears. He's got them baby ears. Be careful, got them baby ears. You boys are a mess. You boys are a mess. TJ got them baby ears. Be quiet. The children around here, we gotta act like adults. There's children around here. Well, boys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you. Been on here for an hour, so I wanted to stay on here 30 minutes, but you boys and girls kept me on here, and I appreciate it. I had a blast. I'll try to get some more stuff done tomorrow. And I would take a jab. Cars in the cut, I would take a jab about what we talked about earlier today, but that's just unprofessional and unbecoming. So I'm not going to say nothing about what we talked about. But anyways, anywho's, I appreciate you boys and girls. Zipperhead. Y'all double tap the screen. Make sure you support those that support you. I'll try to have y'all something tomorrow. Remember what I said, boys and girls, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first, let loose and drag. Peace, 7 chicken grease, I'm out.